Okay, I'm going to do a brief video on this. I'm going to do that for all the non-sayers and all the people that want to blame the Jews for everything, okay? It's like blaming the blacks for everything, blaming the whites for everything, blaming an entire culture for everything in the world. When we have good and evil in every single culture, doesn't matter. The facts are the facts. We have good and evil in every single culture. My philosophy has always been you don't call an entire race for somebody's doing wrong. I mean, because 4 or 5 white guys might go rob a bank or do whatever they do, kill some people or whatever. You don't blame the entire white culture. Because 4 or 5 black people went and robbed somebody, home invaded, whatever they done, killed somebody, whatever, doesn't matter. You don't blame the entire black culture. See, the problem we have in society is so much lying, so much propaganda has been said and been said and been spilt and been spilt and been spilt. Lie after lie after lie after lie, and that's what propaganda is. And you become buried in an ocean of lies, okay? And now, what we got here is the hidden history of the incredible evil Khazarian Mafia, okay? The Khazarian Mafia. Secret history of the Khazarian Mafia and its evil plan to hijack the whole world. That's right. And its evil plan to hijack the whole world, okay? You know, and I find this sort of interesting when I look through this because our history's been, you've been told truth about history and lies about history for as long as we go. And because I wasn't alive back then and you wasn't alive back then, anybody that's alive right now was not alive back then or there to witness what was going on for real, we have to take this very carefully. That's the way I see it. Okay? Not saying that there isn't some truth here. Not at all. But I'm also going to not say how much we can put accountability or credible to it. I'm going to suggest that, yeah, this could be the powers to be. Sure could. I'm not going to say it's not. This could be the ones behind everything, all the evil that's going on. But then again, on the other hand, it may not. I'm going to suggest to you that the Jews have been deliberately placed into certain positions in certain areas, like Hollywood, the banks, the media, what have you, to give the perception that they are the all evil as the fall guys for the people who are really pulling the strings, the people really giving the orders, so that the people of the world will never know who they are. So that you can't go after them. It's hard to go after somebody you don't know you don't know who they are. But you can go after the guinea pigs they set up, right? I would suggest with much evil and much lying and manipulations going on, that's exactly what we're looking at. So who are the powers to be? I don't think anybody really knows for sure. I think we all have brilliant guesses, okay? And I'm showing this article, okay? But how much credibility does this argument have, or this article, on this website? Oh, well, this probably has as much credibility as anything else, okay? That's why I say I sit on a fence with this type of stuff because you cannot concretely prove this to be wrong, but you also can't concretely prove it to be true, okay? The history of the Khazars, specifically the Khazarian Mafia, the world's largest organized crime syndicate. The Khazarian, or cardiology, if I get my wording right here, okay, what is that? Oligarchy, okay, never mind. Morphed, yep, into their development of Babylon. See, so they're giving you history, right? has been nearly completely ex- expelled or exorcised, existed from the history books. So what they're telling you is these people have been removed from the history books. And they're almost completely erased. Nobody knows who they are. That would say there's a really good chance that the Khazarian Mafia is the ones pulling all the strings. That would say that. But is that true? I can't confirm that. Because I read this don't mean it's a lie, but it doesn't also mean it's true. Do you follow where I'm going here? It doesn't mean it's not true, but it also doesn't mean it is true. You sort of have to go with how you feel, I guess, and take the gamble. Is it right or is it wrong? Or sit on a fence. I choose to sit on a fence, okay? The present day knows that they cannot operate or exist without objective, okay, security, and themselves have spent a lot of money having a history, removed from the books in order to prevent citizens of the world from learning about the evil beyond. Okay? See, the way this is wrote, evil beyond, okay, that empowers the world's largest organization, crime cartel, you might as well say, cabal. Okay, so, okay, and then we're going to go down here. I want to get to one part that I wanted to find here real quick because I think it's important that you hear this part, okay? I want to find the part that I'd already read. So give me a moment. This article is very long. Okay? I'm after the certain part that I already read because I want to put that in your face, but I gotta find it first. Ha ha. Now this part right here was pretty interesting too. The authors of the article have done their very best, okay, to reconstruct this lost secret history of the Khazarians and their large international organized crime syndicate, best referred to as the Khazarian Mafia, and make the history available for the world via the internet, which is the new, okay, Gutenberg press, okay? It has been extremely difficult, okay? So they're telling you how much difficult they had, because I read this part earlier, and they're sorry if they've anything, that they got anything wrong, that they're doing the best to put this together, okay? And that part, okay, I could understand that. If something's well hidden and you got to figure since we wasn't alive back when this supposedly was taken on, there's nobody alive when this was going on. It's really hard to have credibility to stuff then because we've been lied to throughout our history for years and years and years, centuries and centuries, So the only thing I can tell you is, we've been told truth and told lies, and you're trying to sort out a bunch of lies. Okay, and in today's society, we have an ocean of lies. Okay, hiding the truth, an ocean of lies. Okay, and I don't want to get too far. I wanted that one part that I read already. So I've been looking this over a while. It might take me a few minutes to find it. Don't this sort of suck? Yes, it does, but that's the way it goes when you got long articles. okay, organized crime syndicate associated with the country we're not allowed to talk about. This has sent a shock waves, okay, yep, I remember reading this part. Yep, of course they would be associated with that country, wouldn't they? They sure would be. Okay, that's not the part I'm after, come on. I'm going to get there one of these years. I said one of these years, didn't I? Still not seeing the part I'm after. Damn, I keep seeing everything I've already read. If I can remember how far down it was. That's what happens when you go through something, you spend a bunch of time on, and then you come back. You sit there and you try to remember where you left off, right? Okay, right here. The Khazarian king was given a choice between Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And the Khazarian king chose Judaism. Okay? So when, because you're going to have people that's going to say, well, this was Jewish, this was the Jews, this was a Jewish mafia. Well, hold on. But if you're given a choice and you choose one, doesn't mean you're Jews. And from what I'm seeing, from what I'm reading, these are Turkish people. Okay? And if they're Turkish people, that doesn't make them Jews. It'd mean they're phony Jews. It doesn't even mean they're Jews at all. Okay? But yet, they would take on Judaism, and of course that would confuse the hell out of people, wouldn't they? But see how much credibility's in this story. We don't know. We can go by what we read. I'm going to leave you a link for this. Okay, but I say sit on a fence. Because I wasn't alive back then to know this. This sounds pretty accurate for being possibly the powers to be. The people behind all of this. And it very well could be. I don't want to say it ain't. But I will say this. As I've always said, I want to say follow the money, names and faces. Sit on fence, keep both eyes wide open, keep an open conscience, keep an open ability to take in information, and don't discount anything that you cannot prove wrong or right. If you cannot concretely prove what you think to be wrong or right, then you sit on a fence with it. You don't come out and start spilling your opinion and say how correct you are when you cannot back up what you're saying. Because then you may be correctly putting your foot right down your own throat. You might correctly have a big dunce sign hanging off the back of your head. There's too many people online I see constantly blaming the Jews for everything. I've seen too many people blaming entire cultures for everything, and it pisses me off. Because the reality is, there's not one culture on the face of this earth, regardless of where you're from, whether you're Muslim, that's right, whether you're from China, whether you're from Russia, whether you're, doesn't matter, from the United States, from Canada, from the United Kingdom, from Ukraine, it just does not matter. Okay? Whether you're from Spain or you're from Turkey, it doesn't matter. We have good and evil in every single culture. And not one culture of people's totally responsible for every bit of corruption on the face of this planet. You want to know who's responsible for it? Us, the people of the world. Following orders from people you know are clearly evil, clearly in the wrong. But they'll offer you lots of the tool, and you'll sell your soul out to evil. So it would still come down to the order followers. Globally, it would be the order followers that caused the problems. Because if a group of people are evil, like what you're suggesting here, how did they get to be the mafia? the Khazarian Mafia. Well, they're a group of men that decided they could dictate others and used evil means in doing so to get the scare the kajeebs out of people so people would listen to them. People should have stood up to them and took them out. And our followers don't think for themselves. They see dollar signs in their eyes, and that's that. It's over with. They'll sell out their entire people for their own selfishness. You know, I'm always going to use the word powers to be, and I'm going to go up the pyramid, and I'm going to say nobody knows who's the very top square, who's really pulling the strings. Nobody really knows for sure. This is probably the closest that I could come to for saying who's pulling the strings. And they're not even real Jews. They would be hiding under the religion. They would be hiding under the name. From what I was reading, I think they're Turkish. That they're from Turkey. That's not, if they're from Turkey or Turkish, that's not a Jew. So, but like I said before, everything we have been lied to for ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. History has been taken out of the school system and completely replaced. So when your government came into the school system, just the United States after World War II, and came into the school systems around the country and removed all their history books. There's been great times and periods throughout since the beginning of the world where we've had book burnings. That's right. Books being burned and destroyed. Did you ever stop to think about if there was real truth in them books and you burned them and destroyed them, you would be burning and hiding truth? Why would this government come into after World War II in the United States, come into the school systems and remove the history books and then replace them with new ones? Because they're hiding something, because there's no other reason you would do that. Or you're putting propaganda in and manipulating stuff because there's no other reason to do it. We have been lied to for as long as this earth has existed, because we have allowed other people to do it. That's really what it comes down to. This is the reason I don't want to argue with people. I'm not going to argue with dumb. There is no fixing stupid. Names and faces. Names and faces. Forget about cultures. Look for the people behind it. Follow the order followers. If you get to the right order followers, they'll take you up to the people shooting the orders. And then when you get the people shooting the orders, follow them. They might take you up to another group of people shooting orders. Do you follow what I'm telling you? It's the reason I don't argue with people. I use common sense and I use logic. And I have figured out enough to know that when certain lies I know of can be wrote down in history to be taught in 50, 60 years from now to the children in school as being truth, we're doing it now. It happened to us too. And it happened to the people before us too. And it happened to the people before them too. You can take that to the bank. We are literally in the world's biggest ocean of lies and propaganda. I would say the famous book burnings was burning truth. Because truth seems to be everybody's enemy. And there's only one reason truth could be your enemy. Because that means you're a liar, you're a deceiver, you can't be trusted. You're like this, you're very evil. That's right. You might as well be part of a Khazarian Mafia, huh? But anyhow, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in on this. I'll throw the link at the bottom for you. But I'm thinking what a brilliant cover. Think about this. If we took the country we're not allowed to talk about, and we took that particular people, and we used them as the scapegoats, how would you use a culture for scapegoats? You'd place them in all the upper positions. You sure would. You'd place them ahead of banking systems. You'd place them ahead of Hollywood. You'd place them ahead of corporations. You'd place them all over the place in very prompt positions and make them wealthy. Why would you do that? Because then the blame will be put onto them. And meanwhile, the people that placed them there are hidden from the public eye and can continue to stay free to do what they're doing without ever worrying about the people coming after them. And I suggest that's exactly what's happened. And why would we make it so that you're not allowed to talk about a certain nation and a certain nation's lead another nation? I know you know who I'm talking about. Why would we make it that way? For the very same reason. Because it'll cause you to chase after people that had nothing to do with nothing. As I'll guarantee you, the majority of the citizens in that place that we're not allowed to talk about are just like the majority of citizens right here in the United States. They're nobodies. Just like you and I. They don't even know what's going on. Guarantee it's only a handful of people over there. And it's that handful of people you have to follow and watch. Why? Because you'll probably find their answer to somebody else. That's why. So anyhow, I'm going to leave it at that. If you can't understand what I'm saying, that's not my problem. I don't care. It's really not my problem. I'm not going to point my fingers any one direction other than tell you what I feel, what I see, what I know. And I know there's a good chance this may very well be your elite. But I still sit on a fence because I can't concretely prove it. That's right, and neither can you. I don't care who's writing this. They can't neither. They can write what they can find, but how much accuracy is in what they find? Why do I say that? Because the lies have been going on forever. Makes it really hard to uncover truth when you got the world's biggest ocean filled full of lies, and what little bit of truth we have is buried in them lies. And that's what propaganda is. So I'll leave the link to this in the morning. Check it out. Now you know why I don't push my fingers and point my fingers at that country we're not allowed to talk about as much as everybody likes to. And that's why I don't call blah, blah, blah as much as everybody likes to. Okay? Because what we have is a situation from very, very smart people that are keeping their asses covered up at all means. And, when I look at it, it doesn't matter if we had 100 people that were pulling all the strings, or if we had 2 people that were pulling all the strings. It doesn't matter. Because it's the people listening to them knowing right from wrong and following their orders for the tool that have caused our problems. So accountability. With that being said, I'm out of here.